This show is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNLive.com today.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Mark Leibovit. Welcome to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday morning, March 19th. No other day like it. Obviously, you have a lot of other choices on a Saturday morning, so I'm glad you decided to tune in and listen to our program. As you know, we don't approach the markets in the quote-unquote normal way. That's why we entitle the show Wall Street Raw. We take a little deeper look into what's going on out there, evaluating the truth or untruth of economic reports. I'm a contrarian, having traded on the Chicago Board Options Exchange many years ago and watching insider trading. And if you study the news, you know, plenty of that has been going on. Whether it's legal or illegal is another story altogether. The famed economist Milton Friedman wrote before he passed away that we should abolish insider trading laws, that it's defeatist against the nature of business and the economy, and maybe we're just running in a negative cycle here, but obviously time will tell whether those laws change. Meanwhile, we do see markets act somewhat predictably based on the movement of smart money, which is what I call it, and then we have an indicator, my indicator, the volume reversal, which is the basis of vrtrader.com, our website. So please go there for more information, and we'll describe that more if we have time, but vrtrader.com, volume precedes price. In my book, The Trader's Book of Volume, I talk in my introduction how I've never, ever been caught in a market crash or significant correction. You see it coming ahead of time. This is since 1987 when I started tracking the markets and publishing aggressively, though I did start my original newsletter back there in 1979. So you can see the volume coming in, and you get a good sense of what's going on, and we tend to trade the markets. Again, backing up to my floor trading experience on the Chicago Board Options Exchange, the people that I admired and trained with had the view that this is a way of making a good living, not necessarily a way to get rich. And if you take that viewpoint, what they did was they would ring the register, as I call it, frequently, and they would take profits literally every day, come home fresh, hopefully some profits in their pocket, and that was it. And next day is a new day, and you just move on looking for opportunities in the market. So basically, that's what I do on a little more tempered basis. We don't necessarily trade, intraday that way, but we definitely like to ring the register. In that regard, we had some nice winners this past week. If you were a subscriber to vrtrader.com, two of which were GW Pharmaceuticals, GWPH, and Freeport-McMoran and FCX. We're currently not in those positions now, but big gains there. GW Pharmaceutical, in all modesty, we made 50 points. That's 50 points in a stock that we were long in the 30s, that opened up in the 80s after a news announcement. We saw the accumulation in the technical patterns, and it was probably our biggest point winner in the last year on a one-day basis. That's GWPH. We're still keeping an eye on that. What do? Well, they're in the medical marijuana business, and we have a newsletter called the Vice Letter, and we also track that in our VR Trader Platinum newsletter this week as well. So if you're a subscriber to either of those, you did very well. But GW Pharmaceutical, medical marijuana, they're doing FDA studies. They're based in Britain. The stock was a $20 stock, went to $130. It pulled back to $30, believe it or not. And obviously at that level, it was a steal in my work, so we start to recommend it. Also, Freeport McMoran was a big winner for us. It's a cheaper stock. We sold it over $11. We paid in the $7 area for it. This stock, I believe, is down from the 50s and 60s from the last couple of years. They're in gold mining and copper, and I still think it has more to go, but we took a nice trade there. You know, you can make that kind of money, 20-30% on your money in a short period of time. You do it. So this is what we do at vrtrader.com, and that's, again, a little bit about what vrtrader.com and Mark Leibovit is about. As far as there's so much going on here in the markets. We've had a wild ride here, but after one of the worst starts to the year on record, if you're following the Dow Industrial Average and the S&P, we're finally now in positive territory, up a little bit, about 1%. As you know, we were down over 10%. So I think the S&P has risen nearly 12% since its February low, and here we are. The dollar dropped again this week. I was talking about the strong dollar. Finally got a bit of a correction. I had been writing that the dollar did need to pull back. We saw that result in a bullish move for commodities. Even crude oil had a nice rally. You've been tracking that. We bottomed around $26 a barrel in the last month or so, and here we are touching about $41 during the week this week. Gold had a big run, too, as you know, from the December lows down around the 1040 area up to nearly 1300. So we tracked that, too, and we had recommended that. In fact, one of our big plays was SGOL, which is the Swiss Gold ETF. That's SGOL. We also rang the register there, took profits, and looking to get back in on a pullback. Still think gold is in a bottoming area. And when you take a look at what's going on in the world, recession, market rigging, let's call it what it is, central banks coming in there, printing money, driving interest rates into negative territory in Europe and Japan, and probably going to come here in the U.S. We've talked about that in previous broadcasts. So that printing press is running wild. The Fed decided this past week, as you know, not to raise interest rates. Of course, I've been writing for a couple of years. I don't think they're ever really going to raise interest rates, so we'll see if they go up even more. Why? Well, the real economy isn't what you're hearing. The unemployment rate is probably 15%, not 4.9%. And when I drive down the streets, I see a lot of unoccupied commercial buildings, a lot of vacancies, and that tells me, business is really not what it should be. If you interview people, you'll understand that there's maybe a lot of part-time jobs out there, and it's not the same world that the stock market is portraying. So the central banks are going to continue to print, and that's ultimately dangerous in a big way. The question is, how far can they drive interest rates into negative territory? How much money can they print? How long can they support stock prices? And only time will tell. So, we try to trade them. We do have our political views of what's going on out there. And as you probably read in my newsletter, we don't stand on any ceremony with our belief that we need an enema in Washington, but the enema has to go beyond elected officials. We have a lot of lobbyists, and we have lifetime government employees and influence there that really need to be changed if we're really going to change the system. And I've been calling for many years for the abolishment of the Federal Reserve. Created back in 1913, the dollar has lost 97% of its value since that time. So a lot of big changes, including perhaps a change or elimination of the IRS. So once all that happens, perhaps we'll see some real change. But meanwhile, unfortunately, a lot of people say, well, gee, if their stocks are up and the portfolio is doing well, regardless of whether the economy is really good or not, they're happy. So I think that's why the central banks are out there aggressively as they are, priming the pump and keeping the interest rate scenario where it is. Meanwhile, we have a lot of special guests here for you today, and we're going to start in just a moment here on Section 2 with Mr. Gindel. We'll talk to you then. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@GCNLive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@GCNLive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas, is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Hi, my name is Nick Lupo. One World Whey has been by far the best protein that I've ever had. I take it 3 times a day. Once in the morning as soon as I wake, once for a pre-workout snack, and once for a post-workout recovery drink. It has helped me transform and sculpt my body into what I have now. I began taking the product about 2 years ago, and boy, let me tell you, I'm in the best shape of my life. I've seen major muscle mass gains and have 0% body fat. I have had people at my gym ask if I compete in bodybuilding because of how lean and muscular I am. I used to suffer from everyday aches and pains from hard manual labor my whole life, and arthritis that runs through my family. But One World Whey has helped me take that everyday pain from a 10 to a 3. Some days I feel no pain at all, just full of life and energy. It has also helped my skin look younger and healthier. Thank you, Synergistic Nutrition, for One World Whey.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
Don't know what's in your drinking water? Better get a Pro Pure. With the Pro 1G 2.0 all-in-one filter, remove over 200 contaminants, including fluoride and lead. Taste water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of Pro Pure water filtration products. There's a Pro Pure system for you. Visit your authorized Pro Pure dealer for details on our current free shipping special or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Keep the change. Think big. Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw radio show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Introducing a special guest for the Saturday morning, Stephen Gundel, who is authoring a new book called Risky Business, and he wants to share a little bit about that with us. Entering his 70s, Stephen feels it's time to pass along what he's learned about successful risk-taking, and which could not be more applicable than it is today. So, Stephen, a little bit of background on you while we have a second. You were born in Hungary. You escaped during the revolution and emigrated to Canada. You started in your late teens, launched a number of successful businesses and ventures in the U.S. and Canada, and by your age 26, you were publisher and later oil lease explorer, in addition to launching 8 different companies in 6 different industries. So we're looking back at a half-century of success, Stephen. Really a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Mark. It's good to be here. And I just like to pass along some of the things I learned along in my life, as I struggled to get through.
Okay. And this is going to be in the Risky Business book.
It is. And the idea is risk is the thing that we're all afraid of. And once we learn how to manage risk, then we can see that as an opportunity. And whatever looks scary and risky at the beginning usually has the greatest upside potential, both financially and personally.
You mentioned how to partner with big players who initially don't wish to partner with you. So this is the first step, I suppose.
Yes, it's one of the steps, and the areas when you enter into a new field, there's always an established group of people who've been at it for many years, and the usual way of coming in is working your way through the ladder. So if you're trying to come in at a higher level, you have to figure out how you're going to do this. And the area where I was most successful in this was in the oil and gas exploration in the late 70s, early 80s.
So how do you cut out the middleman among those who are first learning about these opportunities? You mentioned that in your book.
It's you have to gain an understanding of the financial drivers that exist in the oil and gas business. And the oil and gas exploration business is basically a real estate-based business based on oil and gas leases. So if you understand what the rights and privileges of a leaseholder are, then the question becomes, if you can become a leaseholder, then you're on equal playing field with the big guys.
Well, this is very topical at this time, as you know, with what's going on in the oil industry. And I know Canada got kicked quite a bit, particularly in Alberta, with the decline in oil prices and so forth. So I believe you feel we're on the verge of a new oil boom, and oil has bottomed recently at $26 a barrel, got up to about $40, and is hovering around that now. Give us a little insight about what you think is going on in the oil industry, both short-term and long-term.
Well, the wonderful thing that happened in the oil and gas industry was fracking, which made the United States, instead of being a net importer, eventually a net exporter of oil. Usually a drop in oil prices reflects the beginning of an economic boom because it makes everything cheaper. But interesting, in this drop, everybody was crying that the end of the world has come, but oil has always been cyclical. And so I think it creates many opportunities in many industries to prosper with this lower oil and gas price. I think it's a very positive for everybody, and people just got spoiled with $80 to $100 a barrel oil prices and thinking that it will last forever. So it does a good house cleaning, and the ones who know what they're doing and why they're doing it, they'll be successful and even more prosperous.
Do you have any predictions about where you think oil is going to be headed?
I think it's going to be stabilized in this price range for the next year or two because there's such a glut, and the large oil producers, they need the money, and they can't. They all have different worldviews, So the day of OPEC being able to control the market is over for now, anyway.
So when will the book be released, Stephen?
I expect next September will be. Pardon me. I expect that this September we should be able to ready to go to print.
Are you marketing the book yourself, or will it be released to a publisher?
And we hope to release it to a publisher, although the manuscript isn't. It's just being prepared now, so it depends on the reception it gets.
So how do our listeners get in touch with you or to find out when this book is going to be available? What's the next step?
Well, probably the best step is contact me on my email, Stephen, STEVEN, at ID Security Experts, all one word, IDSecurityExperts.com.
Okay, that's Stephen at IDSecurityExperts.com, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Stephen Gandel, thank you so much for joining us. We have a short window here, and we covered it. Hopefully all of you can take advantage of risky business when it is released, and I really appreciate your insights on the oil industry because this is very topical at this time. Thank you, Stephen, for taking a few minutes with us this Saturday morning.
It's been my pleasure, Mark. All the best to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you again, Stephen, for joining us. Still have two other special guests on our program today. My good friend Sinclair No will join us on segment 4, and we have a repeat of a recent guest, Harry Boxer from the Technical Trader, who will be with us on section 3 in just a few moments. Meanwhile, a bit of a contrary indicator out there. Our old friend Jim Cramer from the CNBC on his Mad Money show is now bullish after a 2,000-point rally in the Dow Industrial. So that's a bit of a warning sign as far as I'm concerned. And, we are in that approaching that sell may go away period, even though it is March. You have to be careful for a market top in this general time frame. And we do see sometimes important changes in the market in the mid-March period. So be a little careful out there. That's what I think. Meanwhile, stay tuned, and we'll be back with you with both Sinclair No and our good friend Harry Boxer here during the course of our broadcast, and we'll try to cover a little bit more economic commentary during that time frame. Listening to Wall Street Raw, I'm your host Mark Leibovit for this Saturday morning, March 19th, and stay tuned. Sinclair will be with us, as I mentioned, on segment 4. Here we have a longer interview with him today, so that's why we delayed it a little bit. And again, Harry Boxer from the Technical Trader does a great job in outlining both his view of the market coming up here and individual stocks, so stay tuned for that.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common-sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com.
Back my good friend Harry Boxer to Wall Street Raw this Saturday morning. Harry is the founder of the TechTrader.com, a live trading room featuring his trade alerts and technical market analysis. He's a 45-year veteran of technical analysis, stock picker, and author of the book Profitable Day and Swing Trading, named by Stock Traders Almanac as the 2015 Best Investment Book of the Year. Harry is a popular speaker at financial forums and conferences in the U.S. and internationally, including the Traders Expo and the Money Show, and widely syndicated on sites including MarketWatch, The Street, Minionville, Decision Point, and more. Harry does a terrific job, I have to tell you. I watch his videos during the day now, which I hadn't had an opportunity to watch, and he's probably the hardest worker out there in terms of keeping traders abreast of what's going on in stocks and stock charts. Thanks for joining us, Harry.
My pleasure.
Well, the market continues to roar ahead, and you were bullish right near the bottom when everybody else was bearish.
That's right.
Where do you think this is going? New highs, or is this just, as many thought, just a knee-jerk bear bounce?
If it is, it's a pretty big one.
It's breaking rules. It's breaking rules.
Let's put it this way. When I talked to hedge funds and investment managers, they were all panicking, ready to sell the first bounce, telling me we're going to hell in a handbasket. The AAII Investor Sentiment Index was 73% bearish. It's like there hasn't been. That's like an 8-year. Negative reading. And so I just said to myself, the market never accommodates the majority. And that's one thing I learned from Joe Granville years ago. The market climbs a wall of worry. And so the bottom line is that I felt, well, the other thing is I'm looking at markets that so many stocks, after coming down in dramatic down channels for weeks and months, have reversed sharply with big volume and then pulled back on low volume and started to move again on big volume. And it tells me this is bottoming action, not snapback action. It's more than just that. At least it appears that way to me. Now, at any moment, something can hit, terrorist attack, whatever, and we can get killed. But if everything's normal here, and we don't get interest rate rises, which I doubt we will, I just think the market, from a technical standpoint, continues to look higher. Now, everyone's worried. Everyone also tells me, well, the McClellan oscillator went to plus 260. That's way overbought. I said, it's so typical that people will look at that McClellan oscillator as a hard and fast rule, meaning at a certain level it's overbought. Not the case when the market starts out on a new intermediate move. It immediately has that initial thrust with big technicals that takes the market, because the McClellan oscillator, by the way, is a measure of advanced declines and up-down volume. So typically at the beginning of every major move, you'll get that thrust and you'll get a quick overbought reading. What the market does, it continues to work its way higher as the oscillator will go flat to lower, and it kind of catches up. Because what happens is the breadth goes from 8 and 10 to 1 to 2 and 3 to 1. So it can't keep up that angle of ascent in the oscillator, but it will continue to keep up the angle of ascent in the indices. And if you take a look at your hourly charts, you'll see on the S&P 500, for example, we've had one big move up and a pullback, another big 5-wave move up and a pullback, and now we're in the 5th wave. So yes, this could end at any time, or it can also extend to where the S&P can make a move to, I think, test the highs around 2060. That's going to be a tough area to get through. That's the level 2080. So 2080, which is about 32 points from here, 31 points from here. And if you could do that tomorrow, right? If you get a blow off to that level, I would say, yeah, I'd be more inclined to raise some cash and pick it up, because we've already gone from 1810 to 2050. That's 240 points, and that's about 15% straight up.
Well, look what we did after the August low. We had a tremendous move up. We just about got to the highs, maybe token highs, and then we collapsed. The same pattern could repeat if you're on the bear note. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see if it gets through those levels and stays there.
Right, but as you know, I am typically, because I've been doing this for, I hate to admit it, it's actually close to 55 years now. I'm going to be 70 in December. So I've been doing it since I'm a teenager. And I can tell you that I see this a lot. I see the same kind of patterns repeat in all time frames. That's the reason I wrote my book, Profitable Day in Swing Trading. It's all about pattern recognition for shorter term time frames. And I believe that all patterns repeat in all time frames in the same manner. I was speaking to Ralph Akampura about my 1-minute charts, and he was astounded. After all the years that he's been in this business, he never realized that patterns can repeat even on 1-minute charts. He was blown away to see that I could day trade 1-minute charts. And that's a seasoned veteran of over 60 years in the business. But that's why I created a niche I think is unusual, and I have a website that I think is very, very unusual for day traders, and the vast majority of them are thrilled with what I give them every day, including today. We've had a very good trading day so far.
Right, I'm thrilled too watching it. It's fantastic. Give us that information. So if our listeners want to get in touch, where do they go? TechTrader.com?
Just go to my tech site is TechTrader, TechTrader.com.
TheTechTrader.com.
And there's a button on there where you can click on, and you get a free trial for a week or two with no credit cards involved, and you can check out the entire site and get an idea of the trading room, what that's like. A lot of really good traders in there, a lot of mentors. If you're a newbie or a seasoned veteran, you'll enjoy the ride.
Harry, we have so much to cover, but we ran out of time, and this is a short interview, so we'll have you back as often as we can on the show, and hopefully I'll see you here in Phoenix in April for the presentation you're doing here, but I know you'll be doing plenty in other places as well.
That's right.
Talking to Harry Boxer, founder of thetechtrader.com. Again, if you want more information, go to thetechtrader.com, and I highly recommend checking that out if you're particularly interested in the short-term market. Harry, thank you for being with us, and look forward to seeing you.
My pleasure. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you again, Harry. And I did want to cover today the passing of a very good friend and market legend, Ian McAvitie, who passed away this past week. And it was just a tragedy for our business. We're losing a lot of the great mentors here. He started his investment newsletter for subscribers in 1970 called Deliberations Research, and was a frequent speaker on Wall Street Week with Louis Rukeyser. And I was on that show, as you know, as an elf. But I recall his presentation back in the 1970s, one that really stuck out for me, where he presented, believe it or not, the correlation of the full moon to tops and gold. And this really got me going in terms of studying cycles, and in fact the action of the lunar cycles in terms of all the commodity markets, including gold. So I owe a lot to Ian McAvitie. He was a great friend, a great newsletter writer, and really a legend on Wall Street. He was based in Canada, and his letter, Deliberations, is going to be sorely missed in the years ahead. But it was a great inspiration for me. So, again, I want to acknowledge Ian McAvitie on our show today. I just learned about his passing on Friday, which really rocked me a bit. Again, we're losing so many key big names in our industry, like the Joe Granvilles and the Marty Zweigs and so forth. So we have to be grateful for the research that they provided as a technical research up to this point, which again were inspirations to all of us who are doing the writing that we're doing. We're going to have our good friend Sinclair No joining us here in just a moment. So stay tuned for Sinclair. We're going to cover all the Eat the Bankers commentary that we do every week, and that'll wind up our show for today. Again, Sinclair will be with us shortly. Again, the markets are in a difficult position here. If you're not in the markets, we rallied Dow 2,000 points here off the lows, and here we are trying to make a decision whether this is going to continue or not. More on the bear side, being a little more cautious here. So we'll cover that more with Sinclair on segment 4. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market tsunami, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free Vice News Raw report. You will receive it weekly, and it is totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw report at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com for your free weekly report from Mark Leibovit and WallStreetRaw.com.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com. And like us on Facebook.
This is Sharon Hunt. Before using Heart and Body Extract, my energy level was very, very low. I could only walk a few feet and then would have to sit down. I was tired and lethargic. But after taking Heart and Body Extract, my energy level has improved greatly, and I can now walk longer distances without getting tired so fast. Thank you, Heart and Body Extract.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the Internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back, my great friend, good friend, Sinclair No from 1510 KFNN Phoenix, financial commentator and also author of the blog EatTheBankers.com and author of the book by the same name, correct, Sinclair?
Right, EatTheBankers.com.
That's the book you got to read, and we cover a lot of the high points here every week, looking at what's going on in the economic front and a little bit what's going on with the banksters. Speaking of banksters, Morgan Stanley strategists, according to your blog, are growing increasingly concerned about the risk of global recession. We heard this from Deutsche Bank, I believe, recently as well, among other financial institutions. What's going on? Are we climbing a wall of worry with the market?
Maybe, or maybe it's just a pure contrary call. I mean, you've done these headlines forever. I remember watching you 20 years ago pull out a clipbook full of headlines, and when the institutional bankers say recession on coming, or watch out, here comes the bear market, that's usually a great time to invest. I don't know if that's how it's really going to work out, but so far it's looking like it. Certainly this week that was the case.
We have worldwide recession, and I guess that's influencing them. I think they may be concerned about some of those loans defaulting that we've been reading about, particularly in Europe, with regard to, I think it's Deutsche Bank, with regard to the oil industry, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure. Deutsche Bank had cocoa, and there was concern there, which still hasn't been resolved, by the way. But the more we see oil prices start to rise, the more that tends to fade away. They'll figure out some way not to let these
I imagine they will. Let me put it that way. They'll figure out some way to ease the burden of some of these bad loans on some of the big financial institutions. And I imagine that's a little bit of what we're seeing right now, and a little bit of what the Federal Reserve expressed as their concerns when they talked on Wednesday and decided to take a little bit more dovish stance.
That was no surprise, was it? That was no surprise.
Well, no surprise that they didn't raise interest rates at this meeting. But then the question was, would they really be that much more accommodative? And no, it's not a surprise, but still a fairly dovish stance on the part of the Fed, I think.
And this is what the market wanted to hear.
Oh, yeah. As you know, the market just loves an easygoing central bank. That means that they're not going to tighten up on the big banks, and so go out and it's risk on. And that certainly has been the case that we've seen since the Fed announcement. It's been risk on in the markets. The markets responded very positively. On Wednesday, the markets rallied for about 74 points. Thursday followed suit. And now, all of a sudden, the declines that we saw in the first month of 2016, well, that's all just been washed away, and we're back to just a little bit above break even. This is one of the biggest comebacks that we've seen in the market for a quarter since 1933. It's really quite amazing. It's probably driving you a little bit crazy with your forecast model.
It sure is, and there's still risk out there. Remember, sell may go away, and we're already in mid-April, mid-May. We see the normal tops, but sometimes we see tops in April, and maybe it could even skew into March. So we've got to be careful in this time frame, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs is telling us that the Fed will raise rates in June and maybe even April. What do you think about that?
I'm not sure what Goldman Sachs is thinking anymore, quite frankly. They're coming up with some of the wildest ideas out there of anybody, and they end up with a little bit of egg on their face from time to time as well. So hard to say really what they're thinking of. But we are seeing a lot of problems still in the markets. It's not as if everything has been resolved. You still have the low energy prices, and I think probably the key area there for oil is about 50. And before we get to that point, there's still a large chance that we'll see a lot of these energy companies start to fold. We'll start to see a lot of the loans that were made to them default. That'll put some pressure on a lot of the banking entities here and in Europe as well. And it also affects a lot of sovereign wealth fund money as well. And you want to start following some really big money. There you're talking, hundreds of billions of dollars that flow in and out. And we've seen how Saudi Arabia, for example, has a $100 billion budget deficit, and they're starting to borrow money again for the first time in at least a decade, if not longer. That means that they're going to be taking money out of markets in order to deal with that budget shortfall. And really, I think 50 is probably the key level that we need to be watching for oil right now, an area between profitability and losses for some of the major oil players. And when we say major oil players, we're not just talking some of these drillers out in South Dakota or even some of the big oil players, but also nations. And that's bound to affect the financial institutions as well.
Speaking of Goldman Sachs, weren't they recently predicting $20 oil just before it took off?
Again, a contrary headline there, right?
Right.
Goldman predicts $20 oil. Next thing you know, we're over 40. So
We'll find out soon enough. Well, Goldman, has done some pretty good calls in the past, and we've only seen some bad ones just recently. But who knows? I mean, I don't know how to evaluate it, except that it looked like a bottom down there in oil, and we traded it accordingly. So meanwhile, one quick comment here. FedEx beat estimates, and I like to look at the Dow Transports, and maybe that's a sign that things might be turning around economically, which is, as you know, that Dow Transports has been a big leading bearish indicator up to now.
Really the U.S. economy is not that bad. There are problems with banks. There are problems with some oil companies and energy companies. But most of the U.S. economy is just kind of rolling along. And even the Morgan Stanley outlook, they're looking at the U.S. economy growing by 1.7% instead of their previous forecast of 1.9%. It's not like the U.S. economy is grinding to a halt. It's just this slow, sluggish kind of growth. Nothing to get excited about, nothing to write home about, but it's continuing on, and then you see some improving efficiencies from companies like FedEx, and we're seeing more and more online shipping taking place. That's a real positive. There's still economic activity going on in the U.S., no question about it.
Sinclair, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes with us. There's so much topics that we could cover, but we've done it for this Saturday morning, talking to Sinclair Now, financial commentator, KFN 1510 Phoenix, and author of the blog, EatTheBankers.com. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you again, Sinclair. I want to thank Sinclair again and Stephen Gundel for being with us, along with Harry Boxer on the Saturday morning. Interesting week ahead. We have Republican elections on Tuesday. Obviously, the outcome of the political world is going to determine what the markets are going to say or do. Wall Street seems to be against the Republicans, and particularly Donald Trump. The call is that if he gets in, for example, the stock market could nosedive. Of course, we've heard those type of predictions before, so we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. Meanwhile, we have to keep in mind that, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we've had a 2,000-point rally here in the Dow Industrials. We tend to get some change of directions in the market in the mid-March period, and certainly by April, May, the markets tend to top out. So I don't think this is a good time to be chasing stocks. Of course, we trade them at vrtrader.com, and I do encourage you to go to vrtrader.com for more information on our newsletters, vrtrader.com. And if you have any specific questions, don't hesitate to email me at mark.vrtrader.com. As we close each week, I'd like to remind you what Ed Hart used to say on the Financial News Network: we will know in the fullness of time.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.